Hey guys, welcome to Talking Strongman. Today's guest came within a whisker of winning World's Strongest Man in 1997, the incredible Flemming Rasmussen. Flemming, how's things?
Fine. Hello.
It's really good to see you. Obviously, you know, one of the other the legends that I watched growing up. So it's always fun to talk to. I don't want to say the older strongmen, but it's the guys that kind of paved the way for the modern era. So it's great to see you.
Older and strong. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah.
So when I talk to the older athletes, especially someone like yourself that I don't know as much about, I want to sort of try and find out what got you into the sport, because strongman back then was very different to how it is now. I think now you can do strongman everywhere. You know, every gym you go to has strongman equipment, but yeah. I guess when you were starting, that wasn't the case at all, was it?
No, I was a former bowling champion, and right next to the bowling alley there was a little gym, and I had played bowling for 10 or 12 years, and my right side was getting bigger than the left side.
Okay.
So I went to the gym to put a little muscles on the left side also, and I walked straight in the gym, and I was pretty strong as a beginner.
Yeah.
Some of the guys there have trained for many years, and I was stronger without having touched any weights before. So when you find something you're good at, I keep coming back, and I think about 3 years after, I was a national champion in powerlifting, and I met some guys at the exhibition, and they invited me to a strongman competition. That was a qualifier for Denmark's Strongest Man, and I won the qualification. So of course I went to Denmark's Strongest Man, and I had no experience at all. All the events, I haven't trained for them. So that was 10 events over 2 days. I haven't tried any of the events before, and I got a third place.
Wow.
I only because I made a few mistakes, or else I could have won. We have my little puppy. We had this. Yeah, just a minute.
No worries.
That's my girlfriend coming home. Yeah, that's just my little puppy.
Not like when I had Jeff Capes on. Jeff Capes' dog, I think, was attacking the postman when I was talking to him. So
this is Italian Cane Corso. He's like 6 months old and weighs 40 kilo.
Wow.
Yeah. No. We had this, a truck pull, and that was a bus, on like a running alley.
Yeah.
This gravel, or what do you call it?
Like a running track, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stand there in my, shoes. The other guy have football boots and, with spikes and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I lost it all there. Or else I could have won Denmark's Strongest Man the first time I went there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the reason I keep coming back. So that was a lot of fun. I think powerlifting is very boring.
Yeah, sure.
And strongman, that was really fun, and they paid for
it. Back then they paid for it as well. That's
they
brilliant.
Paid me for it. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, no. So that was quickly I got into it, and then I just stuck around because obviously I have the flair for it. Even some events I had never tried them before, I won them. over, you know, Henrik Raven. He won Denmark's Strongest Man twice, and he was in Orange when Gary Taylor won.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was also in Sun City in '94.
Okay.
I think, was it? No,
Yeah,
I can't remember.
no, 94. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Sun City. Yeah.
yeah. So I could see that I didn't need that much, you know, to beat him. So
Okay.
home training back next year, and I kick his ass. So
You came back and you kicked his ass the following year.
yeah. Then I won 8 time in yeah.
8-time national champion. You're coming from 10-pin bowling. Let's get this right. You came from 10-pin bowling. You're a national champion in 10-pin bowling. Then you become national powerlifting champion. And then you're national champion in strongman as well. That's a...
Yeah, I think bowling was a little bit difficult for me because I didn't have the head for it. Maybe I had the game, but I was getting so pissed off. And so powerlifting and strongman fits me better.
Yeah, you can be a bit more aggressive, I guess, in those than you can in 10-pin bowling.
Yeah, bowling is something you have to be calm and not nervous. And
I guess it's a good sport to teach you to cope with pressure, though.
Yeah. Really, if you don't have your mind into it, you fuck it up. You know, and I have just too much power to play it, so I stopped.
Yeah, I actually think doing other sports helps when you come to strongman. Well, whatever the sport is, just being able to be a competitive person crosses over well. There's a lot of strong guys in the gym, but when it comes down to competition, they can often crumble under the pressure. Whereas the guys that have competed from a young age in different sports seem to be able to rise above that pressure and perform when it counts.
I always had my best lifts. That was, you know, on the stage in competitions.
Yeah.
Not in the gym.
No, I think it's a good lesson to learn, is to try and make sure that you do your best lifting when it counts. Because there's so many guys that I see, they're always keen to do these big numbers in the gym. And then when it comes to competition, they're down on those numbers. Whereas you look at the really good guys, they save their best lifts for when it comes to crunch time and it's time to perform. That's when they rise above it and they can just get that little bit extra.
Yeah.
So, well, you won Denmark's Strongest Man, and was it 95? You did your first World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, in Bahamas. Yeah.
It's not a bad place to go for your first Worlds.
I think it was okay.
Yeah. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, that was, you know, there was a lot of you know, nagging in Denmark. So when I have to go to about strongman, so when I had to go to Bahamas, I felt like I have to, you know, do something better than the last guy because you know, to prove myself. Well, I qualified to the finals, and I was very good in murder ball.
You were, you were. That was a strange event. That. So basically, it was like a big beach ball, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a big beach ball.
It was. It was you know, a quarter filled with water.
Yeah.
So but it was really tough because the humid in Bahamas was very high.
Yeah, the humidity.
And the doctor's team was very what do we call that on English? Worried about Forbes Cowan.
Yeah.
Because he got so tired.
I think those head-to-head events, when it's man against man, it's very dangerous for two big, strong guys. That, let's be honest, we don't really know what we're doing in those man against man events a lot of the time. We're expending so much energy, blistering hot conditions. I mean, the Bahamas, like you said, the humidity must have been awful. The heat as well.
And in the deep sand, we were. Yeah, that was really, really tough. But I can imagine it's if you do it on you know, on asphalt or something, that would be so stupid. It had to be on the beach. So.
Do you miss strongman doing those kind of crazy events? Because now it's a little bit more standard now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit boring, because it's always the same events.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more if we make a strongman competition in Denmark, there's still strongman in Denmark. They did, more of the old stuff.
Yeah.
Because, just seeing big guys lifting weights, the crowd, they just go off.
So when you did the World's Strongest Man, this just for my satisfaction, did you know about the events back then? Like, did you know you were going to do this murder ball event? Did they tell you about it, or was it a surprise when you got there?
We knew it. Okay. I think when we got the official invitation, we were put in heats. We knew the events, but murder ball, nobody knew it.
Yeah, it's not one that's easy to train for, I guess.
No, no. But though I think it was fun.
It was, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people. Some people really love the more standardized events and focusing on records and the way the guys are developing that. I mean, they're freaks of nature right now, but there's a lot of people that like that variety and the kind of just the show that was the traditional show, the changing of the events every competition, even if it was like a slight variation on an event. Like I used to love watching the Flintstone lift. It was like a deadlift or an overhead press, but with like it just tried to make it look visually appealing. I think it was always there was a bit more thought into trying to change up the events back then.
Yeah, but it's more like like sport now. Back then it was half show, and I think now they like standardize it all. Back then we didn't know how does the log look like.
Yeah.
Is it big? Is it small? Is it wood? Is it metal? Now I think now it looks like it's more standardized.
Yeah, these days, like most of the logs are the same diameter, so people kind of buy them to train on. Whereas I remember just when I started watching competitions, some comps, like you say, it'd just be a small diameter. The next one is a really big diameter, a metal one, a wooden one. You go to Bill Kazma, he's doing it with tree branches still sticking out of it. So the equipment now is very nice, but it's and the guys can obviously train these events week in, week out, whereas you guys are just, I guess a lot of it was just gym training.
Yeah. I had a little garage with with some equipment, but that was I did basic gym training and 1 month maybe before a competition, a big competition, I pulled the stones and did some logs, or else it was just basic training.
Yeah.
That was it always just an hobby for me in that time. I had I work on a factory, 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
I had a gym, so I had to take care also, and my wife, and I was a bouncer in the night time. So, and I trained in my when I have time. So
it was difficult just to fit the training in.
Yeah, it was also if you talk nutrition, there was no sponsors in Denmark.
Sure.
In Denmark, you have this law that you don't have to think you are something and stuff like that. So everybody was looking down on strongman because that wasn't a sport, so I couldn't get any sponsors.
Okay. Is that just strongman or all sports in general in Denmark?
Oh, football is very popular.
Yeah. Same over here.
Yeah, football and handball, but I think that's it.
Really?
Yeah. We had a tennis player, well-paid tennis player, but when she was also Polish, so.
Okay. who's the? I mean, do you follow strongman now?
Yeah, not so much.
I know a couple of good Danish strongmen, but there's not really that many at the moment competing at the top level. There's a guy called Michael Licht who's very strong, but even here I haven't seen for a couple of years now.
Oh, Michael Light, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I know him. He just needs some height because he's
yeah,
very powerful.
he's
He's very
extremely strong.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's not that big. He's not. He's good enough in Denmark, but
he's
not
really
in.
good. His pressing is amazing. His deadlifting's decent. His squatting's good. It's just like you say, he lacks a bit of height for certain events, and then his grip is also. He's just got smaller hands. But I'm friends with him, so I don't mind sort of. He'll take it the right way. But he's an extremely strong guy. Just like you say, I mean, you were 6'5", 6'5.5", something like that. Like,
I don't know what I was 197.
Yeah, so you're a tall guy.
Yeah.
And, I guess actually back then you were probably one of the tallest, weren't you?
No, I was competing with Mega Man also.
Okay, yeah. He was massive.
Yeah, and in my heat in Bahamas there was Marco Valazzi from.
I remember from Finland, was it?
Crazy skinny Finnish guy, but
Strong.
Yeah, he didn't look strong, but I think he was. I think was he third in Bahamas or fourth? I can't.
He was definitely up there. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think he might have been top 3, to be honest.
I think so, yeah.
But
Magnus and Badenhorst and Marco Valazzi, I think, yeah.
Yeah. There's been a lot of guys that come onto the scene. They're really good, and then they vanish. It's
Yeah. I remember him after every event. He was sitting, with ice bags on his joints.
I think people don't appreciate how tough a sport this is sometimes. It's you're actually a very naturally big guy. You just got like big joints. You probably came to the sport and just picked up the. Did you find the events came quite natural to you?
Yeah. I think in Vegas that was the first time I tried car walk.
Yeah.
And I won it in the heat. So, I just picked it up and ran. It's
Well, Vegas.
It came natural to me. Yeah. I didn't have to train so much at the events, but sometimes then the mistake comes when you don't do it every day.
Sure. I think that's probably the difference now. The guys take it so seriously. They're very well prepared on everything. But you guys were exceptionally strong. And I think, was it Vegas was 97? World's Strongest Man?
That was Vegas, yeah.
And that was your best performance at World's Strongest Man. You just missed out really on the title to Jukka Ahola.
Well, I made 2 mistakes. And that cost me. In car flipping, I made a mistake, and also in the lock, I made a mistake. I didn't hear the judge or something. They took a lift from me, and so I didn't win the event. I knew I had to win and be ahead before the deadlift.
Sure.
I knew that, but. I couldn't afford to make those mistakes because I was dominating. Also in the heats, Ahola wasn't close to me.
Yeah,
I was the strongest.
I remember watching it and watching you. I think I can't remember, but did you win the squat that year? I think there was a squat.
I think I was third in the squat.
The squat was good. Your pressing was really good. Your events were really good. It just came to. This is, and I think we can all sit there and say, if we didn't make mistakes, and we can all look back. I was actually looking at this event. It's just I as an athlete, I never say, "Oh, what if?" because it's done. It's happened. But when you look at, say, now that we only have 6 events in the final, after 6 events in '97, you were winning the show.
Yeah.
It's so we can always do the ifs and buts, and I know every single athlete will have little things that happen in a competition, but we can't change that. But you were in fantastic shape that year, and you really pushed Ahola to take that title.
Yeah, and if I lost on mistakes, you know, that's just too bad, you know. Get over it.
That's sport at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you've also won a number of big international shows. I was looking down, you know, I was actually shocked at how many competitions you had won, because you know, you've beaten some of the top strongmen from that kind of generation in many shows. The one day shows you did very, very well at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riku Kiri, I've seen you go up against Riku Kiri, Magnus Magnuson, those kind of guys, and you're coming out time and time again on top.
Yeah, Sven Carlsen and Samuelsson and Hugo Ahola, they have all been to Denmark. We had like 3 competition, and 2 of them was international competition on that time. There was team competition with the 3 guys, and then we had this, we call it the world's strongest Viking.
Yeah,
that was a month or 2 after world's strongest man. So that was like I got rematch every year because I won it. I think 3 years in a row. But I needed that one competition in Vegas.
Yeah.
But,
I still think coming top 2 in the world is still pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was okay, but you know, I was disappointed for many months.
How long did it take you to get over that?
Well, I still think about it, you know.
Like, thanks for asking me, Lars. I'm sorry, I'm bringing up bad memories. I
remember this world's strongest Viking. I think that was in November, and when I arrived, Riku and Magnus Magnusson was, you know, when I walk in the door, and Magnus just yelled at me, "You fucking blimps!"
I can picture him doing it.
How could you do it? She said. Yeah,
it's easy for him with his 4 titles.
But I think I many times, you know, in competition, I got, you know, unlucky.
Yeah.
Because when we had the world's strongest Viking, and we had I think we had Manfred Purple as a judge on that show. 3 hours before the competition, I broke my toe. Oh. So I had to. They put me in a cab and rushed me to the hospital. You know, and they put my toe back, and they taped me on. And back in the taxi, and the first event that was truck pull.
Oh God!
With a broken toe.
Yeah, I dislocated my toe doing a truck pull once. It's not fun. Not fun at all.
But I won the truck pull because I have to get it over really fast.
Just do it as quickly as you can. Just cope with the pain and get it done.
Yeah.
So what's some of your most memorable performances when you kind of look back on your career? Which ones are you really proud of?
I was pretty proud about, you know, the competition in Manfred was doing. It was, you know, that was a time after World's Strongest Man in '98. You know, after the disappointment in '97, you know, I went home and I knew what I had to work on. I took so many competitions I could, you know. So when I went to Morocco in '98, I was, you know, in the shape of my life. I was so strong. If you see the heats in Morocco, I won. You know, I was the baddest one in deadlift, but I won the what do we call that? Calf tire flip, and I was so good in '98. But the problem in '98, they have to send me home because I got sick, like so many other guys got sick in '98 in Morocco. I remember they put me on a hotel uptown on 7th floor with no elevators. And I had a room just next to Torfi Olofsson.
Yeah.
You know, he was a 190 guy on that point. You know, how can you put big athletes on 7th floor, with no elevator.
Wow.
That was probably one of my worst memories. That was in '98. Next morning, can you imagine? I was about 170 kilo on that time, and Torfi Olofsson was about 190 kilo. So we went down for breakfast, and the only thing they could serve us, that was toast bread and jelly. That's it. There was no food at the hotel.
I remember I've spoken to a number of athletes about the '98 contest, and literally nearly, was it 90% of the athletes and the crew all got food poisoning, didn't they?
Yeah. The food poisoning came to me because I complained. The TV crew was living on a hotel down the beach, and I said, "How can you put us on a hotel? There's no food. We can't get anything to eat."
Yeah.
So they came with bananas for us every morning. I said, "We are not fucking animals. I can't live off bananas."
Yeah.
And the same was, in the evening time, they came with pizza. As you say, I can't live off pizza for 3 weeks from a local pizza. And that's why we got sick.
Yeah.
Because we were fed with this fast food from a local. So I know Ahula, he had some, they went, over the ferry to Spain, and they bought food, ham, in a can and stuff like that, and weight gainer and stuff like that. So you can, because you couldn't get proper food there.
Yeah, I guess when you look at like some of the modern athletes now, that they take it so professionally and scientifically, they bring their own food with them. But I've never done that personally. It's a very new thing, and back then you just didn't even think about bringing your own food, did you?
No, because until then it had been nice international hotels we have with good food. There was no problem.
Yeah, most of the time the food is good at World's Strongest Man. I just know of the 2008, obviously, unfortunate circumstances. Literally all the athletes, I think only 5 guys finished the show in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, there was one guy, I think he was from South Africa. He was put on a hospital. He was very, very sick.
Wow.
They found out I got Caryobacter. So I couldn't cough. Then I shit in my pants. I lost 10 kilos on that week. So I just told them, put me on a plane. I have to go home. I can't be here. I was so sick.
Not a good experience.
No, and that's actually why I decide to compete in Manfred's competition. Okay. Because I told them, I had built up my shape for 1 year. I was so good shape, and you put me on these shitty hotels. I said no more, So it was easy for me when Manfred called and said, "Yeah, I compete with you." I was done with the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, it's a shame it was like that. Things have improved since then, which is good to know. But just to hear that you've sort of had to go through that experience is quite sad.
Yeah, but many guys said stop at that time. Rico quit, and Magnus Magnusson quit. Heinz Ollis quit. They said no more. So that was bad.
Yeah. So what have you been doing then since? When was your last competition? Because you still competed in some internationals. You competed in Denmark's Strongest. Was it 2003? Your last Denmark's championships?
I stopped in 2003.
Yeah. How old were you at the time?
I have to do the math. I was I'm from '68, so I must have been like 35 when I stopped.
Okay, that's cool. I think these days you've got guys going on much older now, but back then that was a normal age to retire.
Yeah.
You see, guys like Zadrunas now. I think he's 46, still going. You got Mark Felix, who's 54, 55, something like that. and still compete. He's just not normal.
No, that's not normal, you know.
It
But you know, I saw some from Denmark who was competing in the high eights also, but I didn't want to be that guy who couldn't win.
Sure, I totally understand that.
Yeah, I was not competing because it was fun on that time. I wanted to win, and yeah, I couldn't see myself, as an old guy coming last.
So what were your best lifts in your prime? Because everyone likes to know. Obviously, strongman, it's sometimes hard to know. But what were your sort of best gym lifts or your best log? I think your upper body was very, very strong, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I had. Well, I'm actually on the list on what that's in '99 log lift. I had a record there in '98.
The log lift.
That's on the left. 77.5.
177.5. That's a good log.
Yeah, I did 85 also, but in the gym I never lifted more than just 170 for reps, and I was I never tried my max. You know, I was a pretty good bencher also, but I never knew what I could lift at bench. I was good in repetitions.
Yeah.
I did the stone lift 140 on an exhibition, but you know, that was just, a gym lift.
Like a stone press, do you mean?
Yeah, just rock lift.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I don't know what the world record was. On that time, you know, it was higher than the world record, but it was just for fun.
I think it'd be cool to see some events like that back again, like the awkward kind of rocks and stuff like that. It's very, very difficult. I've actually never done a rock lift. I've done like a block lift, which is like a metal block, but I've never done the rock lift. And I remember watching you guys do it. It looked like a really cool event.
We had it on Danish Strongest Man a couple of times, but that was square rocks.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't have round stone in the beginning in Denmark. We just have square blocks also.
Yeah.
We didn't got the stones, but I bought a set from Manfred Herbel and had them. I had to train for them because there was in every World's Strongest Man, there was the stones. So I had to buy a set I could train in my backyard.
Yeah. So you've been one of the greatest strongmen of your time. You national champion in powerlifting, in strongman, and obviously 10-pin bowling. What have you done with yourself since strongman? Do you still compete in anything? Is there things that sort of drive you?
Yeah, I was so sick of eating the right food and take my protein and creatine and vitamins. I just got sick of all that. So I think 3 years ago I stopped training. Also, I have some knee problems and some shoulder problems. I got operated in my stomach also for, I don't know what you call that. When your muscles just
like a hernia.
I don't know what it is in English, but yeah. So I just know more.
Nothing now.
I think the last time I tried to do anything, that was a commercial for Denmark's Strongest Man. The performer, he asked me, "Can you pull that truck?" Yeah, no problem. So then my calf went off. So I said no.
Yeah. That's the worst. That's the worst thing when you do something like that as well. Actually, I was talking to Rene Minkwitz, and I think he did something similar on an advertisement. He was doing like a tire flip and blew a muscle out or something just for an advertisement. It's that's
just accept we're getting old.
Well, you can always look back though and see those epic performances that you put in your prime. It was truly a privilege to watch, because for me, that's when I was kind of gathering interest in the sport and wanted to do it myself. So I know myself and plenty of the other fans will enjoy hearing from you. listening to your stories, and I'm sure that a lot of them will go back and watch some of those epic performances that you put in.
Yeah. Hooray for YouTube, because on that time there was nothing.
No, it's much nicer now. If you're like a fan of the sport, that I think those kind of days. Literally, it was just. Actually, I don't know what it's like in Denmark, but in England, Christmas time we watch Strongman. I don't know if there's much on TV in Denmark.
Yeah.
Did they show it when you were competing?
No, when I was competing, it was on Danish television.
Yeah,
we had all 3 competition in Denmark was TV2 in Denmark filming it.
Yeah,
and it was very big. We have so many viewers at a football match,
really?
a national football match. Yeah, one year it was one of the most viewed in Denmark. That was Danish Strongman. That was in '97. But after all that, all that Tour de France, all that doping and all that shit, then the television stations, they haven't been filmed it since. So in Denmark there are, I think there still are a union, but I think in Denmark every time someone build up a big union and in Strongman, somebody else think he can do better and destroy it, and then have to start all over. We have seen it so many times in Denmark. So right now, I think it's pretty quiet about Strongman. This year, they couldn't even find out to make Danish Strongest Man.
Yeah, I guess this year has been an awkward year as it is anyway. But
yeah, but I can't understand why you can't take 10 guys in the gym and get it over with. You had World's Strongest Man. That was no problem. Here, you don't have to fly people in.
Yeah.
I can't see the problem.
Yeah. Hopefully things improve. I mean, you do have some good youngsters coming through. I know I've seen a number of them. It's just getting that, someone like yourself that really kind of gets to a high level. It can inspire then a lot more people. We're lucky in the UK. We get a lot more TV time. We've had some really good performances from certain athletes, and now it's very, very popular over here. But it does take, like someone like Eddie Hall, for instance, who won World's Strongest Man. It's definitely increased the popularity, and we've got guys that have done well for the last 10 years. But if you don't have athletes that are at the top, then it's easy to lose interest, I think, for the TV and that side of things.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know any guys. I haven't seen Danish Strongest Man since. I wonder why they didn't, take me out as a judge or something.
Yes,
like
getting you involved would be brilliant. Well, maybe some of the guys that are kind of involved now will see this and want to see you involved, because I think it's great to bring back some of the old, stars of the sport. And it's been a pleasure for me to chat to you, Flemming. It's really good. One of the few, I don't believe we've met before, have we?
I don't think so, no.
Sometimes I've met like a lot of the older guys, but there's a few that I still haven't. But I'm very pleased that you came on. It means a lot to us, and I'm sure many people watching will really enjoy seeing you again. Thank you again for coming on, and you have a great Christmas, okay?
You too. Stay safe.
And yourself. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.